they sent our way more than 500 missiles. John, 500 missiles, they do not appear from nowhere. They are manufactured, including parts from the Western countries. They are being bought from Iran or North Korea. And this is how Russia manages to continue fighting. And it will be very naive from our side to hope that they will use all their weapons and then will just be left with people only. No, they are ramping up the military production. And what we see by the result, that they are able to make it very, very painful to us.
What can you tell us? What do you know about this recruitment of football hooligans to fight against the forces of Ukraine?
Well, I don't think that we should be surprised, because beforehand they were conscripting people in jail and were offering them a release after they serve for a couple of years. So hooligans is just another aspect of this. And Russia is able to conscript people that are not like really either trainable or not really able to fight well, because they're using people as battlefield meat. And this is their strategy. They're very open about that they use old Soviet way of fighting the war, throwing people to the front and then hoping like that they will deal by themselves. But Russia supports that with a huge amount of weaponry, of missiles, and this is how they're keeping it together and are able to terrorize us. Recently there has been 2 weeks of the terrifying attacks on Kiev, and 2 days ago the missile hit very close to my home, so the windows were pulled out of their frames and thrown into the middle of the room, and half of my wall is rubble right now. So I know it firsthand what Russia's way of fighting means.
Indeed. I mean, our thoughts are with you, Kira, as always. We know we hear what you're going through under this awful bombardment, especially since the new year. But this use of football hooligans, for goodness sake, it is clearly a sign of desperation. Russia's suffered such heavy losses since the start of the invasion. And apparently they describe the front line in Russia, they describe the front line as the flesh grinder. And these troops are seen as expendable, aren't they?
They are, but I would not agree that they are in desperate situation right now, because over the last 2 weeks, they sent our way more than 500 missiles. John, 500 missiles, they do not appear from nowhere. They are manufactured, including parts from the Western countries. They are being bought from Iran or North Korea. And this is how Russia manages to continue fighting. And it will be very naive from our side to hope that they will use all their weapons and then will just be left with people only. No, they are ramping up the military production. And what we see by the result, that they are able to make it very, very painful to us.
Tell me, Kira, given what you're going through in Ukraine, in Kiev and around the country, is there any sign of the attitude of the Ukrainian people changing, maybe beginning to hunger for some sort of end to the fighting, some kind of talks leading to some kind of truce? Is there any sign of that?
John, since the full-scale invasion started, I have never, ever personally witnessed anybody saying or implying anything like that, what you're saying right now. And I can tell you that people say that they're exhausted, people say that they are tired and things are not going the way that they hope they will go. But 2 days ago, when we were going like under the rubble and helping each other with my neighbors and people who suffered much more, there was no exhaustion there. There was no fatigue. Everybody was standing very strong and supporting each other, because we know that this enemy, they would not stop. I keep asking myself why it happened to us. Why did we have to suffer? Why did my neighbors have to lose their leg? But the answer is just because we exist. And I do not see any single sign that Putin would want to stop. And 7 huge bags of glass, shattered glass that right now are stored downstairs that we want to throw out right now is a very good proof of that.
Yes, yes. Oh, just a word on women in Ukraine, because I was discussing earlier in the week the role of women in combat in the Ukrainian military. Women are described as being the best snipers in the Ukrainian military. There are 5,000 women on the front line. It's a really remarkable story. And I know you, Kira, you have a machine gun, don't you, in your office, which you're prepared to use.
Well, indeed, in Ukraine, we have this luxury of the democracy that women, unlike in many other countries in authoritarian regimes, are able to choose. We are able to choose our own fate. We are able to do whatever is best for our country. Either it is to go to the front and fight for our country, or it is to work on the humanitarian area, or to work as a politician, or to bring help to the country the way it needs. And this is why, of course, we are all training, because we don't know what's going to happen next and what we will need to do next. I wish we were training early before, and we would be more prepared when Putin's soldiers came. But right now, this is the only way of moving forward, is to make sure that we get ready for any further steps that we will need to take.